credibility about delivering Brexit, they now have to commit to an election on December 12th.
Investigators blame design flaws and human error for the Lion Air crash last year off the Indonesian coast, in which 189 people died. And Naomi Harris is a police officer on the run after witnessing colleagues commit murder. Find out what Mark Kermode thinks of Black and Blue and the rest of the week's top releases in the film review. Very good.
Good evening. It's so good to have you here. Hello.
Hello.
Just somebody is producing some noise.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Very good.
Hello.
Hello. So just girls, if you don't mind, say a couple of words about yourself. Where are you from? You can start, Valeria or Anna or Nadia.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm Valeria. I'm from a small town in Bashkortostan. I'm 17. I have graduated school in this year. That's it.
Okay, very good. Anybody else? Just say hello to us. Please do.
Hello, my name is Anya. I'm from Moscow and I'm 17 years old and I study at 11th grade.
Okay, very good. Anybody else? Dasha, Ekaterina, Vera? Can you just say hello to us, please? Right. Now, Anna and Valeria, if you don't mind, just introduce each other to just meet each other and say a couple of words to each other, like greetings or greet each other. Yes.
Hey, Anna.
Sorry.
I wanted to ask you, why do you want to take the English language?
I would like to. I want to. I forgot.
That's all right.
The word. Yeah. I have chosen the English exam because I need it for my university.
Okay.
Nice.
And why did you choose it?
The same reason.
All right. I see that probably it's okay. This is good that it's possible for you to greet each other. And if you remember what we finished the previous class, so we'll keep on working. Dasha, you want to say something? Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what.
The sound is very poor. Dasha, your sound is very poor. I'm sorry. You have to do something with your mic because I cannot understand anything what you're saying. Okay, Vera, you want to say something? Hello, Vera. Okay. Matthew? Hello, Matthew. Do you want to say something?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
I'll wait for a press conference from the police.
Can you hear me?
To say, but it
Yes,
could
I
be
can
about
hear
the
you
driver
fine.
who's also under arrest.
Okay.
So, hello.
Hello to you. I can hear you fine. Just
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, introduce yourself to the ladies.
Well, my name is Matthew. I'm from the Urals, from the town of Nizhny Tagil, and what else can I say? I'm in 11th grade and getting prepared to the Russian state exam. What else?
Right, ladies, if you have any questions to Matthew, you can ask it. But anyway, just anytime jump in and we can talk. But if you remember, last class we stopped, if you can see the screen, we stopped here, and it was kind of the beginning of a very interesting discussion. I don't know why was it that's exciting, but still, somebody said that it's kind of a sexism. But anyway, see, the question is, how do you react to the idea of an all-female spaceship crew? What problems might a single-sex crew face on the journey? Why might a mixed-sex crew be a better alternative? So those were the questions. And right now we will read the text and we will go back to the questions. Okay, Valeria, will you please start reading?
Forget the kind of mega astronauts you're used to seeing in science fiction films and television programs. Space travel to faraway solar systems will probably to be a family affair conducted by married couples, their kids and generations to come, according to U.S. anthropologist John Moore.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, and we will try and listen to your reading, because you remember that this is part of your Russian exam, sorry, oral exam, Russian exam. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure whether it work or not. Just hold on. I have some technical problems. Sorry about that.
According to U.S. anthropologist John Moore.
Okay. Yeah, I will do it over. So
you're used to seeing in science fiction films and television programs. Space travel to faraway solar systems will probably to be a family affair conducted by married couples, their kids and generations to come, according to U.S. anthropologist John Moore.
Okay, yeah, see, the problem is that you will be recorded during the exam, and so that is why I have this exercise for everybody. And now, thank you, Valeria, and I think that you did this already. I mean, you took this test once and you did it successfully. So anyway, just for everybody to see how it works. All right, and then Anna, okay. Do you want to read further on?
Okay, the first paragraph.
Yes.
Forget the kind of mature astronauts you are used to seeing in
that will be the second paragraph.
The second, okay. The family had the kind of natural organization and motivation to deal with the dangers which are likely to characterize space trips of 200 years or longer to settle remote planets, says John Moore. We are less likely to go crazy in space and more likely to accomplish our mission if we send crews into space that are organized along family lines.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Just listen. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my.
Okay. The family had a kind of natural organization and motivation to deal with the dangers which are likely to characterize space trips of 200 years or longer to settle remote planets, says John Moore. We are less likely to go crazy in space and more likely to accomplish our mission if we send crews into space that are organized along family lines.
Matthew, you ready to keep on reading? Okay.
Yeah, with clear lines of authority between parent and child, as well as older and younger siblings, families provide a division of labor that can accomplish any kind of work. Sense more. More importantly, they offer the rewards of getting married and having children.
Okay, thank you, and just listen to what you did.
Mission is to be sent crews into space that are organized along family lines. Lines of authority between parent and child, as well as older and younger siblings. Families provide a division of labor that can accomplish any kind of work. Sense more. More importantly, they offer the rewards of getting married and having children.
So, my question to you is, what do you think of your reading? Just say a couple of words, each of you. What do you think of your reading? Valeria?
I have read about space travels and how people can do it. Yeah.
Okay. Vera? Well, Vera, can you, okay, Anna? Anna, please. So where is Anna? I cannot find you. Sorry, probably she left the conversation. All right, Matthew, what do you think?
Should I talk about the contents of the text or the quality of reading, maybe?
That's up to you. Whatever you decide, which will be better for you.
Well, I hope my reading wasn't really awful, and as for the text, I just read about some assumptions that family provides some organizations that don't have to be organized by actual authorities. They are already ready, some kind of organization in the family, and it's don't have to be invented.
All right, I will just ask some other people, maybe they will be able to join us. Okay, Dasha, can you try and say a couple of words now? Maybe it's better now. Hello?
Hello?
How are you?
Do you hear me?
Oh, it's lots of noise. Sorry, but lots of noise from your end. Okay, Vera, do you want to say something? All right, yeah. Then we will keep on reading like Valeria and Matthew. I'm sorry about that, but that's okay. So we stopped, more importantly, the offer rewards of getting married and having children. So Valeria, please go ahead.
Whenever colonization is done on Earth, it is always by people looking for a better life. All of the colonizations that I know about have been done by families, especially young couples. In the past, astronauts had to be specially trained and physically very fit to survive in very small space capsules. But spacecraft size is no longer that constraint it was, making it possible to take ordinary people such as midwives, electricians, and cleaners. For a space crew that is going to colonize space and reproduce for many generations, this kind of people will be just as important as space technologies.
Okay, thank you so much. So see, My point is, what I want you to do is probably, I understand that most of you just try to sound with a better accent, better English accent. Well, my point is, what I want you to do is to deliver the message, to make clear what you are reading about, so that everybody, even the person who knows very little English, will be able to understand. And see, a couple of times you ran into a couple of words which you do not know. So when you do not know, please, what I ask you to do is, please read it syllable after syllable. You know, it's just like in the first paragraph, it was US anthropologist. Anthropologist is almost the same word like in the Russian language. Anthropologist. So I'm trying, probably I don't know this word also, it's not that easy, but I'm trying to read this word syllable after syllable, like anthropologist. And then again, when you were reading this next passage, it was ordinary people such as midwives. Just read syllable after syllable. Midwives. Okay. Matthew, can you understand what is a midwife?
What is a what?
A midwife. It's line 20.
Yeah, I know. I see it, but
you don't know this word.
I don't know this word.
Yeah, that's the special nurse, special medical worker who helps women to deliver a baby, to give birth to a baby. So this nurse is called midwife. Okay. So Matthew, please go ahead.
Starting with the population of childless married couples also works best on board of spaceship because it will give the initial crew a few to adjust to their new surroundings without the distraction and responsibility of taking care of children. People may be horrified at the idea that children will be living and dying in space with their only images of Earth coming from pictures and videos.
Okay, go ahead. Hello? Can you hear me? Your voice are breaking. It's breaking all the time. I cannot hear you at all. Hello, Matthew, can you hear me?
Your voice is being interrupted too, but I can hear you, though not pretty well. Can you hear me?
Yes, right now I can hear you. So please start with "but," says John Moore.
But, says John Moore, parents have always made choices affecting the course of their children's lives. We change jobs, we move to another town, we go abroad to find work. If we educate our space kids properly, I think one day they might say, gosh, I'm sure glad I'm on this spaceship and not back on dirty old Earth.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that it's more or less okay. So again, as I said, please, while reading, try to deliver the message to make everybody understand what you're reading about. Okay. And
maybe I should slow down next time.
What's that?
Slow down my reading.
No, that's not a problem. Anna, will you please read? Do you want to read?
Okay. According to Moore, according to Moore, a starting population of 150 to 180 would best sustain itself at the same rate over 6 to 8 generations. every person would have the opportunity to be married with a choice of at least 10 possible spouses within 3 years of their age, and to be a parent. Ideally, the group should share social and cultural values. Having some people accustomed to monogamy and others to plural marriages would create some confusion when it becomes time for the sons and daughters of the first generation to marry, says Moore. Designing morals for people on such a fantastic voyage is problematic because people on Earth would have little influence once the crew was on its own. If the space crew decided on a system of slavery for some and privilege for others, there is little the planners on Earth would be able to do to prevent it.
Okay, and Valeria, if you please finish.
Thinking about the issues is not as far-fetched as you might think. Experts predict that such a space mission will take place within the next 100 years.
All right, so you have this text, and before we do the task, this is the exam practice from the text, like you usually have for your Russian national exam, state exam. So before we do that, let's go back to those questions, like how do you react to the idea of an all-female spaceship crew? So what would you say?
Like I said before, I think it's really weird because we're made like female and male, so I don't know why we have to divorce, so it will be like Amazon woman and men. It's all strange, and I don't understand it, honestly.
Okay, Matthew.
I think that might be weird, but it's not too weird because on the early stages of space exploration, people do not ask these questions because they are not important. And I think, well, just now it's not important, but some psychological issues and maybe some other stuff should be taken into consideration. While nowadays the level of development of science and space industry is just not for this very distant space traveling, where these issues might take effect.
Okay, thank you. And
that's very forward thinking, or whatever you call it.
Forward thinking. You see, this is the book from 2000 for the exam 2015. So I think that this book was printed in the year 2015. So it's these ideas, and this is a textbook. These ideas are a little bit outdated. It's just like they are old. They are 4 years old already now, at the very least, or maybe 5 years old, because before they got into this textbook, those ideas were somewhere in the magazine, or I don't know where they take from this article. But anyway, yeah, I understand. And Anna, do you have your ideas? Do you want Anna again disappeared, right? Okay. And another question is, what problems might a single-sex crew face on their journey? Why might a mixed-sex crew be a better alternative? Valeria, what do you think?
Like I said before, I think we are all have to live together because it is really important to have a whole society. You know what I mean? Like there are no women and men like different parts of the society. We're all together, and there might be problems like, I don't know, we can just start to fight, or men can start to fight. So I don't know. It's I think mixed sex society is better than.
Okay. Thank you. And Matthew, do you want to add something?
Well, if we are talking about really long distance and long duration journey, like depicted in the article below, we should also think about the reproduction issues that maybe this hypothetical flight can take a lot of generations, and so it's important to have the ability to reproduce crew members. But it's all science fiction, and will be for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple of things to say. So what I want to say is, first of all, you said that this is the what you said, science fiction. Okay, let me go back to the article, and if you see this word, I'm just showing to you with my mouse. Thinking about these issues is not as far-fetched as you might think. Experts predict that such a space mission will take place within the next 100 years. So what is far-fetched?
Well, that's what I wanted to express, but failed.
But can you translate that? Far-fetched.
Что называется, далеко идущие планы? Maybe.
Quite the opposite. Okay, Valeria, do you know the meaning of this word, far-fetched?
No, not really.
Okay, so far-fetched, it's kind of an idiom, and I don't know if I put it correctly in Russian. It's something like "притянутый за уши." So that's almost exactly what you're saying, Matthew. That this is not the science fiction. This is the experts' opinion about the space mission which will take place within the next 100 years. So this is not the science fiction. This is not the fiction at all. This is the reality. And another thing is, which I wanted to emphasize, is that you are supposed to give an answer, as I said previously, like the exam style. So what I mean here is, usually you have to get used to answering, like giving your opinion, giving the opposite opinion, and then giving the summary. So doing like that, I think that, and then you give your opinion. But other people think, and you give the very different opinion. Then you make kind of a balance, and then you say that these other people do not persuade you, do not convince you, and so that is why you still think, and blah blah blah, you're giving your own opinion. Never forget that you are supposed to give this exam style answer. Okay, and then I have something from the teacher's book. A single-sex crew might miss the company of the opposite sex and the distractions they can provide. And a single-sex environment would be very unnatural. A single-sex crew may squabble. Squabble is something like, arguing, maybe some kind of a fight, like Valeria mentioned. So that squabble may be without the balance which is provided by the other sex. there may be times when the women would benefit from masculine thinking patterns, and vice versa. So we benefit when we have the opposite point of view. I mean, men, we benefit from the women's, from knowing the women's point of view, and the same when we think of quite the opposite. Like women benefit from the masculine thinking. Then also from women, for example, from physical strength and so on. And again, it might be boring to be in the single-sex environment. And the last reason is that children need both sexes to influence their development. So this is kind of the answer from the teacher's book, and this is kind of a model answer for you, not to forget good ideas which can be used. Okay, Vera, you want to add something? All right. Now we have, yeah, do not forget that in a couple of minutes, they will just stop the presentation, and you know that they will stop the presentation without any warning. So I just want to remind you that the presentation, my presentation, will finish all of a sudden. So that is why I want you, I want to make a couple of announcements. So the first announcement is I want you to have a look at my page. This is, excuse me, this is my page, which is Emphasized English or Углублённый английский. And if you want to, you can write your testimonial or your review about my classes, and you are very welcome. And the last thing which I wanted to announce, to say is, I'm just asking your permission to upload and to publish the videos, because usually I record the video, and I decided to ask your permission. So, Valeria, do you mind if I upload, you see, every announcement I have, every advertisement I have this video where you will be present, your voice will be used. So do you mind if I have this video uploaded and then this video used in my presentation and my advertisement? Do you mind it?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, thank you so much. And Matthew, how about you?
The same, I don't mind.
All right, thank you so much.
Anyway, it happened before, and I don't see why it shouldn't happen now.
Because see, there were a couple of occurrences when people just wrote me and asked me why I've been using their voice and their answers without their permission. And so after that, I immediately deleted, and you can see that several classes were deleted. I deleted myself from my YouTube channel because they just asked me about deleting them. So I did that, and that is why I decided to ask for your permission. Okay, so if anybody is opposing this idea or is against that, just let me know anytime. Just write to my webpage, and I will do whatever you want. Okay, we have still 6 minutes to go, and right now we'll go back to the book, and you will complete the task from the exam practice. Now, we read this article about space travel, and for questions 1 to 6, choose the answer A, B, C, or D, which you think fits best according to the text. Okay, Matthew, will you please take the first question?
Well, what makes families especially suited to long-distance space travel?
Yeah.
I think that's because they can settle down better in new situations.
you think that what makes families especially suited to long-distance space travel? You think because they can settle down better in new situation. Valeria, do you agree?
Yes, I think so.
Well, actually, this is not the correct answer.
Wow.
And do you remember how we can prove that this answer is correct? It's not because I have the keys, but also because you can find the proof in the text. So maybe I will let you go through the beginning of the text, and maybe you will find the good answer. And never forget,
So I want to cite this. We are less likely to go crazy in space and more likely to accomplish our missions if we send crews into space that are organized along family lives. So they are more suited to cope with stress of space travel, maybe.
Yeah, yes, that's the correct answer. And to support your idea is it says here the family has the kind of natural organization to deal with the tensions. So that's the direct synonym to the stress. Okay, after you found the direct synonym to the word from the text and from the question, it's possible for you to say that this is the correct answer. Okay, next, Valeria, will you please question 2?
Why will more ordinary people be able to go on space flights in the future?
Just you can read it silently, the options, and think about that for a couple of minutes, and then give your answer. I'm not in a hurry.
I think it's B. There will be a greater need for people with useful skills, because there were something about midwives and something else. I don't remember, but I think it's B.
Okay, Matthew, what do you think?
I personally think that it's D. Modern spacecraft will be much bigger than spacecraft in the past.
Okay.
Because there will be space to actually host all these people.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible for me, and next time I will produce, if it is possible, 2 windows. In one window, I will let you go back to the text, and in another window, you will see immediately at the same time the questions. Right now, we do not have this chance, so remember the options. Space travelers will be specially trained. There will be a greater need for people with skills. It will be easier for space travelers to keep fit, and modern spacecraft will be much bigger. Okay, let's go back to the text, and let's try, because both of your answers are not correct. Okay, sorry, I was not looking. Yeah, probably Matthew's answer is correct. Can you prove that your answer is correct?
Well,
yeah, you have to find this part in the text.
Yeah. Well, but spacecraft size is no longer the constrained force, making it possible to.
Matthew, a good idea will be if you let us know the number of the line. That is why we have lines in good textbooks.
The approximate number of the line is 20.
20, okay. Go ahead.
But spacecraft size is no longer, or it's, yeah, it's 20. It's no longer a constrained force, making it possible to take ordinary people.
Such as, oh, okay, so that was the same answer which Valeria gave, only she said that it was a different choice, but her approval is the same. So you see, do you understand the word constraint?
Constraint is something that prevents you from doing something, maybe.
It's a limitation. Yeah, it's a limitation, it's a limit. Yeah, constraint is a limit, it's a limitation. Okay, very good. So the answer is D,